What is up, Dynasty Leaguers? Welcome back into another DLF YouTube channel video. It's Tuesday, it's mock draft day, so I'm so excited to continue to do this series where I'm pulling in actual rosters, leagues, draft picks from you guys, comments down in the comment section below. So thank you so much to everybody who's already asked me to do a video and that I've done videos for. I've done, I think, 4 last week, and we're continuing to do. I know I got 2 already scheduled, counting this one this week, and then for basically the next couple of weeks, an additional 2 or 3 throughout here. So this one's going to be another one. This one is for Dustin. So thank you, Dustin, down in the comments, giving me your team and your draft picks and stuff. From what I believe and basically from what I've scheduled for, your draft is today, your slow rookie mock draft. I'm trying to get this out to you as early as possible on this day to help you out with the draft picks and what I would do in my process if I was in your stead. So good luck in your draft today. Let's get right into the video. So like I said in the introduction, this one comes to us from Dustin. So we're going to be mocking as if we are Dustin, and his league and his draft picks comes from a 12-team Superflex league, no tight end premium or anything like that, just a normal 12-team Superflex. At quarterback, he has Deshaun Watson, Baker Mayfield, and Jordan Love. Running back, he's got Nick Chubb, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Chris Carson, and some other backups. Wide receiver, he's got A.J. Brown, Chris Godwin, T. Higgins, Adam Thielen, DJ Chark, and Marvin Jones, and some other backups. And then at tight end, he's got Jonnu Smith, Cole Kmet, Hayden Hurst, and O.J. Howard. So this is a pretty strong team. I mean, there's a couple holes and positions that we could really fill and solidify, but overall, a super strong team that we can continue to make better a little bit. We got 4 draft picks here, 1 first rounder, 2 second rounders that we can work with and make this team a little bit better and see what we've got going on, because the Superflex and the Superflex aspect of it is going to be really, really interesting in terms of what to do with this first round pick. So let's look at the draft here. He's got the 1.04, the 2.06, the 209, and the 3.09 in this 12-team Superflex. So ultimately, the biggest decision I think is going to come at the 1.04. So let's see what we got here. Obviously, 1.01 is Trevor Lawrence. 102 went Justin Fields. 103 went Kyle Pitts, which I think is a pretty interesting order here. I probably would imagine that one of Justin Fields or Trey Lance, if not both of them, are going to be gone with 102 and 103. I also wouldn't be surprised to see Kyle Pitts at 1.03. Wouldn't be surprised to see Chase or Najee Harris. My thinking for this 1.04 pick for you, Dustin, is when I'm looking at your roster, I'm seeing Nick Chubb, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Chris Carson. Those are your 3 running backs. Those are 3 very, very good to elite running backs that I really, really would like to have and think is great to have on the same roster. I'm looking at your wide receivers. You got A.J. Brown, Chris Godwin, T. Higgins. 3, potential top 15 wide receivers in terms of Dynasty ADP. Adam Thielen out there, who is a potential wide receiver 2 just in terms of production, even though he's an older, aging veteran. DJ Chark has a lot of upside now with Trevor Lawrence in there. Marvin Jones as a skilled positional player with Trevor Lawrence now too, so he can mix in for bye weeks and stuff. So ultimately, I really, really like what you have going on at the running back and the wide receiver position that ultimately I don't think we really need to touch with this 1.04 pick. You could, definitely add to both of those. You could, in this certain instance, we could draft Jamar Chase, we could draft Najee Harris and see what goes on. That's not the direction I'm going to go here. And I also would consider Kyle Pitts as well if Kyle Pitts was still available here instead of him being taken at the 1.03. Where I'm going to go here, and probably I think what I would advise the most in this draft in terms of targeting at the 1.04 is a quarterback. And the reason why I say that is because I'm looking at this team and I think this team is a contender. I definitely think that you could make a very strong push for a championship in 2021. But I think the biggest thing that's going to hold you back is the quarterback position, because you have Deshaun Watson, Baker Mayfield, Jordan Love. Out of those guys, I can confidently say only one of them is playing 12 or more games, and that would be Baker Mayfield outside of injury. I'm not even sure if Deshaun Watson sees the field. I don't even know if he plays a snap for the Houston Texans. He wants to be traded. He doesn't want to be there. Then all that other extra stuff that's going on with him that could potentially clear up before the season, maybe not. I don't know. It's really tough. That situation's tough. And I'm basically acting as if he's not playing at all in 2021. Then you have Jordan Love. As of this recording, I have no idea what's going on with Jordan Love. It's very possible that he is the starter for the Green Bay Packers in 2021. It's also possible that Aaron Rodgers stays and they figure it out with him, and maybe they trade for Julio Jones and they give Aaron Rodgers a bunch of money and whatnot, and he's good. He's back for 2021. And now all of a sudden you have only Baker Mayfield at your quarterback spot. And that doesn't really sit well with me, especially for a team that I think could actually compete for the championship. So I would be taking a quarterback here at 1.04. I'm taking Trey Lance, at least in this mock draft and the way that this board fell. If I would expect that if Trey Lance went, you could get Justin Fields at the 1.04. I would be just as happy to do that for sure. You could also, if Trey Lance and Justin Fields are both gone, I would definitely not be opposed to grabbing Zach Wilson, a guy who, could possibly be the second quarterback in this rookie class in terms of playing the most games behind Trevor Lawrence, because he is going to start immediately. There's nobody else on that Jets roster to compete with Zach Wilson for opening day. And at least, for Trey Lance, you could have Jimmy Garoppolo starting. Justin Fields, you have Andy Dalton. Mac Jones, you have Cam Newton. It could easily be Zach Wilson playing the most behind Trevor Lawrence in this 2021 rookie class. But I would take Trey Lance or Justin Fields if either one of those two guys are still there at the 104. If not, and they're, it goes quarterback, I would not be opposed to being the fourth guy in there and taking Zach Wilson. You could try to trade back if you want to maybe, 5 or 6 or something like that. And see maybe if you can still get Zach Wilson. That might be a risk that you might want to take and see what goes on. That feels kind of risky because I would not want to drop completely out of the top 4 and then have to rely on overdrafting Mac Jones or trying to trade back even more to get into more, ideal Mac Jones territory at ADP. I just feel more comfortable about, grabbing a quarterback at 1.04, even if it's a little bit of a reach for Zach Wilson, but solidifying that quarterback position for the future, because worst case scenario, you have 4 starting quarterbacks in Deshaun Watson, Baker Mayfield, Jordan Love, and 2021 rookie quarterback. That makes one of them expendable. You could trade Jordan Love for a whole lot. You could maybe trade Deshaun Watson for a whole lot if it's, decided that he is going to play. It makes one of those guys pretty expendable and just gives you more assets to work out and churn and trade and see what goes on. So I would definitely be looking at a quarterback at the 1.04. So next up, we got the 2.06 and we also have the 2.09. So we got our pick here and then 2 more picks and then we're up on the clock again. So we have some interesting decisions to make here. And the way this draft board went is also really, really interesting and I don't think is necessarily going to be accurate. At least when you're looking at the second round, you got Rashad Bateman, which makes sense at the 201. Terrace Marshall and Rondale Moore, I think you could swap that order and see where you're at. Michael Carter went at 2.05. The big question mark is Kenneth Gainwell at 2.04. I don't necessarily see that happening. I would definitely expect you look at this as Elijah Moore up there. I would expect Elijah Moore to be taken there at the top of the second, which means that Kenneth Gainwell could be available for this pick here. The real question is whether or not you're still in the range for one of these guys in terms of Michael Carter, Trey Sermon, or one of those 5 wide receivers. Because Terrace Marshall could still be a strong pick at this 2.06, but I would really try to be seeing if you could potentially move up just a couple picks to solidify being still in that tier to grab Bateman or one of the 2 Moores, Michael Carter or Trey Sermon. That's basically where that tier completely ends for me before it really drops off into these other guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown, Kadarius Toney, Amari Rodgers, and all the other running backs, right? Here, the way that this draft board fell might not necessarily be super accurate. I would take Elijah Moore here just because, but I think to be a little bit more accurate, I'm going to take Trey Sermon here just to, not play with what the ADP is doing right now and make this draft look better than what it actually might be. But I'm taking Trey Sermon. If you're on the clock and it's Trey Sermon and Elijah Moore, take Elijah Moore. But for the sake of this mock draft, I'm going to take Trey Sermon there, who I think is also fine as well. And like I said, the end of a tier, a very long tier that basically is a big drop off at the end of this tier. So that's what I'm going to do there. Take Trey Sermon, another piece into your running back group and core, and I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to taking Michael Carter there, or like I said, one of the other wide receivers in that tier, that huge long tier. 2.09, we're on the clock again after Elijah Moore and Pat Fryermuth went. So now we have some decisions here. We have some decisions in this one. We have then the 3.09, and then we're done. So here, the 209, the running back position is really rough. I've taken Chuba Hubbard in this kind of position before. I've taken Jamar Jefferson there. But I think right here, I'm going to be looking for the draft capital. I'm going to take my shot on Kadarius Toney. I'm going to trust in that first round draft capital, which is basically, if you look at just that alone, a 50% hit rate for wide receivers, which is very, very good. Albeit Kadarius Toney doesn't have the greatest analytical profile. So that first round draft capital might be really what's propping him up, besides being like a 4-year senior declare with a senior 21-year-old breakout. That's all stuff that I don't want from my wide receiver, but the first round draft capital is there, and we should pay attention to at least that signal. And this is one of the latest in terms of being able to grab a first round wide receiver in a rookie draft. Last year it was Brandon Ayuk going in like the early to middle of the second round as a first round wide receiver. And I even said, this is pretty late for a first rounder. Like, take some shots if you're at that position. So I'm saying the same thing again with Kadarius Toney, because now it seems like it's very possible that you get him more so in the mid to late second round than the early to mid second round. And I'm definitely fine with taking Kadarius Toney here at the 2.09 ahead of all these other guys who have, basically day 3 draft capital, or they're a complete backup running back, and just hoping and praying that Kadarius Toney turns into something. Maybe this is a long-term play behind Kenny Golladay with Daniel Jones. Sterling Shepard's gone, Evan Ingram's gone, and maybe Darius Slayton's just relegated to the bench or as a backup to Kadarius Toney. But hopefully you're hoping that core becomes Daniel Jones, or insert other quarterback here, Kenny Golladay, Saquon Barkley, Kadarius Toney. That's the core that we want from the New York Giants, and what we're hoping for by taking him here at the 2.09 in that first round draft capital. So here we are, 3.09. This is our final pick here. And again, we could be looking at basically all sorts of different directions for this pick. You could go, since Kyle Trask is still there, you could go the Kyle Trask route, Kellen Mond, Davis Mills, grab a high priority backup kind of quarterback, a guy that could potentially ascend to the starting position within a couple years or based on injury. That could be a direction that you go. You could go the wide receiver route. But again, I don't really like any of these wide receivers here. I like to fade a lot of these guys. I would have probably taken Dyami Brown there if Dyami Brown was there at the 3.09, but he wasn't, so we don't have that opportunity. And this is really where I'm looking for running backs, basically. Again, it's just the name of the game for running backs. Obviously, my boy Elijah Mitchell's there. You could go that route. I've been pretty much hammering Rhamondre Stevenson at the end of the third as well, as a guy who seems more in line to get touches earlier than Elijah Mitchell, even though I believe Elijah Mitchell is a better running back. Stevenson at least can be coming in as the RB2 behind Damian Harris, while James White plays that third down role like he always has. And Stevenson has a pretty easy and clear-cut path to a starting role in touches and carries. So I like taking the shot on Rhamondre Stevenson. Again, the name of the game for me, always in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, is usually just running backs. See what you got in running backs and go for that direction and take a shot on one of those guys and see if you can grab some extra touches, some extra games. Maybe they just fall into a starting role in 1 week or 2 weeks based on injuries. You can start them. They get you a running back 2, running back 3, flex-worthy start. Sit them back on your bench whenever they're done, and that's kind of where it is. And that's really how I like to play Dynasty and how I like to play my running back slot. So I like that a lot. And ultimately, that was our full 4 picks right there. That was what we were able to do. We got Trey Lance at the 1.04. I said basically insert rookie quarterback there, just because I believe that this team is a contender. They can compete for the championship in 2021. And I don't want the quarterback position to be the reason why you don't, because I don't know what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson. I don't know what's going to happen with Jordan Love. So grabbing another quarterback to pair with Baker Mayfield in the 12-team Superflex seems very important for me there at the 1.04. 2.06 and 2.09. The 206 basically to me is see if any of those guys in that long tier of all those wide receivers and Michael Carter and Trey Sermon, see if one of those guys makes its way back to you at the 2.06. If they do, grab them. If not, then I guess we didn't really talk about what to do there, but I think you can kind of figure it out. Terrace Marshall would probably be the pick there as well, or Pat Freiermuth to add to your tight end depth. 2.09, I took the shot on Kadarius Toney. You could maybe do that 2.06 if that tier is done and there's nobody left from that tier. You could go Kadarius Toney or Terrace Marshall, Pat Freiermuth. Those would be the three guys at the 2.06 and the 2.09 that I would really like to take the shots on if you're not able to grab a Sermon, Carter, or one of the other wide receivers that round out the end of the first into the second round. That would be the direction that I would head in. And then 3.09, like I said, name of the game for me is just running backs. I took Rhamondre Stevenson. I really like Elijah Mitchell as well. Obviously, if you've been watching these videos, I think Larry Roundtree makes a lot of sense too. You could go with Khalil Herbert, Chris Evans, Javian Hawkins maybe, but I'm not a fan of taking undrafted free agents in the third round. But basically, Rhamondre Stevenson and Elijah Mitchell and Larry Roundtree would be the three guys that I'm targeting at the 3.09. So that is going to do it for this video. Dustin, thank you so much. Hopefully this helps, and good luck today in your slow rookie draft. Hopefully this video got to you before you were on the clock for that 1.04, but if it's a slow draft, you can take your time a little bit, watch this into at least that 1.04 and my methodology for that one, and and have fun, man. Good luck with that one. So thank you so much, Dustin. Thank you to all you guys out there watching and tuning in for this one. Like I said in the beginning, we're going to continue to do these rookie drafts at 2 or 3 a clip. So I got another one scheduled out already for this week, and some more next week as well, and on for the next couple of weeks. So with that all being said, guys, thank you all so much for watching. We'll catch y'all later.